Caught in a bad romance. Hey, look at that. AOA podcast back for another episode. Oh my goodness. Wednesday solo show. You, me, and the bottle makes three. And look at this list of topics that we have to discuss. Ben Affleck and J-Lo. Come on. Relationship obviously over. Divorce filed for. But I was pretty surprised to learn when exactly they started having problems. Hint, hint, it was their honeymoon. That's way earlier than you should start to have problems. The DNC Books Pop Star to perform in front of Kamala Harris for tomorrow night. We'll discuss. Looks like RFK is going to end his campaign after he dropped a video just outside of the DNC just a few moments ago. So we'll talk about what he had to say there. Richard Simmons and his cause of death revealed. We'll have to get into that, tell you all that's going on in the old Simmons household there. And I caught this thing on Twitter today that I found so interesting. It was a German citizen, German tourist. He comes to the United States and he puts this thing out, 15 American oddities I still can't wrap my head around. Now, I read a couple of them, about 2 or 3, and I decided to stop because I wanted to do it with you. I wanted to read the rest of them with you and react to them because I thought his view of America was very interesting. If you haven't picked up on this yet, if you've been watching or listening to the podcast for a while, I'm obsessed with people's viewpoints on anything. Relationships, food, surroundings, culture, political views. I always want to know what people are thinking and why. And so this I found to be really interesting. So a little fun thing we'll do here. We'll take a look at this guy's Twitter account and we'll go through his 15 American oddities that he still can't wrap his head around. All that and more coming up on this episode. It's a gorgeous Wednesday here in New York. It's like fall weather in August. It's a little bizarre, but it's like one of those great times where you just turn the air conditioner off, finally open up the window. Studio windows are open right now. I'm loving life here. I got the long sleeve tee rolled up a little bit. We're set. We're ready to go. I want to say hey to Will. Will is so positive. Appreciate having Will around. Obviously one of our members. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that support as always. Laura, Lindarella, Raven, Zoso, Miss Justice, Sarah, good to have everybody. Paul, obviously. Mountaintops is here. Good to have everybody along for the ride as we get into this. I have to start this topic with, I am stunned and surprised at how much I actually care about the J-Lo and Ben Affleck breakup. I don't know why. Cuddles is here. Are you surprised that I'm obsessed? You're not? I like Ben Affleck. I think J-Lo is okay. I like her too. I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck. We watched The Town last night. Wasn't that good? Ben Affleck could direct the shit out of a movie. But I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure this out because every time there's an article or anything on J-Lo and Ben Affleck, I'm reading it. And I'm usually not one for tabloidy bullshit. I don't really care for celebrity life. I'll talk about it if it's interesting for the podcast. But I find myself reading these things when I know I'm not going to talk about it on the podcast. But there was an interesting article that came out today, which is why it's the lead topic on our episode. But I have to start with the fact that I'm surprised at how much I care about this. And I don't know why. I'm taking the Ben Affleck J-Lo divorce harder than I'm taking my parents' divorce. They haven't gotten divorced yet, but there's still time. I'll be shocked if they make it the whole way through. It's been 40 years, but I feel like it's wobbly right now. Feels very wobbly. But I don't know if it's because it's that whole second chance at romance, like they finally found the one that they're supposed to be with, kind of a deal. I don't know what it is. Because I also find myself now, every time I see a photo of Ben Affleck with Jennifer Gardner going, oh, I wonder if they'll get back together. I don't know what it is. But I feel like, I don't know. I don't know why I want Ben Affleck to be happy so badly. But I do. I feel for the guy. And I still, here's the other part of it. This is part 2 of my obsession for them. How did this go so wrong so fast? Now, this is what the story is for today. We'll talk about that. But I mean, it shouldn't have. This was such a, they looked so happy when they got back together. How this fell apart so fast is beyond me. Now, this is all hearsay, obviously, but a source told Page 6, so take this all with however much grains of salt you need to, that their relationship issues began on their honeymoon in Lake Como, Italy. And the reason was, this source is saying, numerous public outings during that honeymoon, all packed with PDA, and they're out shopping and going to restaurants and stuff. And there were cameras capturing it all. The source says that he was unhappy with the paparazzi following them, that she's an international superstar, and he acted like it came as a surprise when they would be following her around. Now, she obviously can't help that kind of a thing. We heard him discuss this in the Kevin Hart interview where he talked about them walking through Times Square together and how there was a whole, a whole bunch of people that were shouting and screaming out her name. Right. So we know this is kind of possibly maybe sort of a sore spot with him, the whole celebrity thing, but she can't help it, But I think, and again, I'm just interpreting now, I'm trying to guess here with you guys. I think that maybe she was mugging for the camera a little bit too much. Like, was that it? Like, was she doing her best to minimize it as much as possible? Maybe that's what's bothering him. Like, because I feel like it's kind of stupid and silly and naive to go into a relationship with a megastar like J-Lo and act like you guys can have total privacy. I mean, he's a pretty big star too. Not as big as her, I don't think. Definitely doesn't have the bank account that she has. And he's acting like surprised or it's her fault or, and I think that's unfair. But if she's like, let's go here, let's go there, if she's mugging for the camera, if she's trying to kiss him while people are around, while she knows cameras are around, I can see that being irritating. But just shy of that, this is basically something that he has to reconcile with and get over. You can't blame her for something like that. Again, like I said, unless she's, bringing it on more by, leaning into it, which maybe she is, because from what I understand, she's not that nice and she craves a lot of attention, So, I don't really know what to make of this, but the fact that they started running into this problem on the honeymoon wasn't a good sign. But this source goes on to say that he's been very protective of her, which is why he hasn't filed for divorce himself. It was her who did it. It was J-Lo who did it yesterday. She who did it. And she did it on their anniversary, I guess, because they had 2 weddings. There was a Georgia wedding and a Vegas wedding. And I don't know, I think she did it on the Georgia wedding one, the bigger wedding. She did it on the anniversary of the big wedding with all the friends. 2-year anniversary. So they didn't even make it 2 years, because we learned yesterday that they've been split. They've been split skis since April, since the spring. And we know they haven't been seen together for quite some time now. They're not really talking. There's no prenup, which I found really fascinating. Cuddles was telling me about this yesterday. There's no prenup. He's worth $150. She's worth $400 million. So she's got, what's that, $250 million over him? And there's no prenup. But apparently what is it she wants? She wants half his shit. Why? Oh, she said she spent more in the relationship? That's pretty hilarious. Now, I was reading somewhere, somebody was pontificating. Oh, no, it was the douchebag on TMZ. He was saying that they have to split everything they made during their time together. I guess that's a California law thing or something, where they live, which is kind of weird because they got married in Vegas. I guess they did live in California. They did buy like a $65 million mansion together. They probably weren't even fully. Can you furnish a $65 million mansion within 2 years? I don't know. Even if you're J-Lo and Ben Affleck, I'm sure there's a couple empty rooms in there with just some lawn chairs and shit, you know? Isn't that the best part of moving into the house when you got like folding chairs just up and a folding table? But yeah, he's very sensitive and very protective of her, doesn't want to humiliate her at all, which is why he hasn't filed for divorce. I don't know what snapped in her to make her do it yesterday. And apparently she did it without a lawyer. She filed on her own without a lawyer yesterday. Obviously, none of their representatives are commenting on it, but man, I would love to know what went wrong here. Now, coinciding with this also is his sobriety. He was getting sober just before they got together. They got back together. Then he was really settling into sobriety, really putting months and years, in between him and a drink. And, that changes a person. Like, I don't care who you are, it changes a person, and rightfully so, right? It should. You have to change your whole lifestyle, your mentality. I don't know if that played a part in it, but maybe that whole excitement of it all, by the time he sobered up, it wasn't the same for him. I don't know. I really don't know, but I'm dumbfounded and I'm fascinated and I don't know why. I mean, they're both wonderful looking people. They're both wildly successful. They're both massively talented. I don't know why. Supposedly their children and everybody got along famously. Like, on paper, this seems like something you could put $1,000 on reaching 10 years at least and feel comfortable about it. And they're out in two. They've been splitty since a year and a half. It kind of seems crazy to me. A lot of people say this. A lot of people tell me that she's just not nice. Cuddles heard she's a bitch. So take that for what you will. I mean, it's probably, pop stars, singers, I think, are catered to a bit more. And I say that because, like, I've seen concerts and shows and everything being put together. Like, when you're an actor, and people, you've probably seen this behind the scenes footage, actors are out in the middle of winter pretending it's summertime. They're freezing their ass off. They're, hanging on a wire for 7 hours, pretending to swim underwater. You name it. They have to do kind of some shitty things sometimes. They work 14-hour days sometimes. It could be gritty. It could be tough to be an actor. Mentally draining, emotionally draining. It could be tough. Singers, especially after they make it, a different world. Your wardrobe is done for you. You get to call all the shots. You get to pick your dates on tour. When you show up, your dressing room is decorated exactly how you want it. Some of the bigger pop stars have the same furniture, and they have curtains that go up on the walls, so they feel like, even though they're in a different city, they feel like they're in their same room no matter where they go. So there's a sense of familiarity there. They get the bowl of red M&Ms. They get the favorite water that they like. They're catered to a bit more when you're a pop star. Now, she's an actress too, right? She's acted as well too, but I would say primarily she's a pop star, right? She's a music star. So, I think that just breeds a more difficult person. And I've seen a lot of crazy demands and asks on musicians, writers, and I do feel like they deserve it most of the time, because they broke their ass going from town to town in a jalopy van, trying to make themselves popular. I don't think that was J-Lo's route, but she certainly worked for it. She came from the block. But that whole documentary thing, remember how weird that was? Like, all about their love and everything. Jesus. That's tough. It's tough to be proclaiming your love and producing documentaries about yourself and your marriage, and just 2 months later, it's all gone. Maybe you spend more time working on that marriage and less time working on the documentary. It might have helped out a little bit there. So I promise not to bore you all. I promise not to continue on with this J-Lo and Ben Affleck thing, but I'm fucking fascinated as all hell. And I wish one of them would sit down and just explain what happened. We need a one-time Oprah style tell all interview where they just let it all out. I'm more inclined to think that Ben Affleck would do that one day, although if he's going to be protective of her, maybe not ever. But I would think that he would be more like, I think he cares less about his image than she. And I say that because he smokes and, you know, he did an endorsement deal for Dunkin'. He cannot care about his image that much. If he's just like, yeah, whatever, I'll do a thing for Dunkin' Donuts. No big deal. So we'll follow it. I promise not to make it overbearing. We're not going to turn into TMZ over here. But I'm fascinated. And I think everybody else is mildly fascinated by this as well, too. I mean, this one fell apart quickly. Everybody's thinking it's their final chance to finally find some kind of happiness. And then kaputs. Let's talk about the DNC. That's ongoing this week. We certainly covered the Republican National Convention. I must admit, and don't read too much into this, I've watched the DNC a hell of a lot less. I was a lot more curious. I think coming off of the shooting of Trump, I was a lot more curious to find out what he was going to be like and what they were going to say. I watched Kid Rock. I thought his performance stunk and was awkward. I watched, who did I watch last night? Lil Jon. I thought that was cool for a little bit, but then again, kind of goes on for too long. And then they start putting the candidate's name in the song. And I'm like, ugh, stinks. So I didn't really love that too much. And now the big rumor out there, which I believe is all but confirmed by the Democrats themselves, is that Pink will perform in front of Kamala Harris on Thursday night. So the answer to Donald Trump's Kid Rock is Pink. And I don't know about you, but I'm kind of disappointed in both. Now, hear me out. I think they're both extraordinary talents. Again, Frank was giving me, you know, shit for talking about Kid Rock and how talented he was. I saw him in like 2006, 2007, and the guy ran around the stage and he played every instrument during one song. It was amazing. It was the most insane thing I'd ever seen at the time. Pink, I think, is extraordinary. Remember when she was on that one of the award shows or whatever, and she was on the curtain? She just grabbed her mom's curtain and hung it on the top of the arena and flipped around for 4.5 minutes, just going on and on and on, and singing the whole entire time. She's just whipping around like a fucking like a whisk and just singing, never lost her breath. She's unbelievable, huge talent. But I would be remiss if I didn't say I was a little disappointed, because I'm telling you, and not that it's right now, because I'm sure if it is going to come, it's going to come later. But this rumor about Taylor Swift and Beyonce, that's the kind of thing that will make you a little bit disappointed in a Pink performance. When you're thinking, ooh, they might get Taylor or Beyonce, and then they get Pink, which she's not much farther down on the list, but she is farther down on the list. It leaves a little bit of disappointment. And I like Pink. Look, Robin likes Pink. I like Pink too. I'm a big fan of Pink. Love the Pink. Love the Pink. Love the Pink when she had pink hair. Love the Pink now that she's got blonde hair. I did prefer the pink hair better. I like the whole pink thing. Call me crazy. It was like when Modest Yahoo dressed like a rabbi. I like that better than current Modest Yahoo, but I'm still a fan. I like it when you go all out and do the whole thing. I like the Sgt. Pepper Beatles. Sure, I like the After Sgt. Pepper Beatles too, but there's something special about that time. Anyway, I'm a little, I don't know. I got all excited about the Taylor Swift and Beyonce thing. Now, listen, if I'm programming the whole thing if I have Taylor and Beyonce committed to it, I would not blow that in the convention. I'd wait and hold on to that come October, just before we all go to the polls together. By the way, wasn't it weird how Donald Trump accepted the endorsement of fake Taylor Swift? Was he trolling there, or did he really fall for that? It feels like he was trolling, but I can't really be sure, because I saw clips of him on Theo Vaughn's podcast, which Theo Vaughn just makes me laugh. I think he's the new, it might be a redneck guy. What was the blue collar comedy tour with all those guys? He's the new blue collar comedy. He's the new Jeff Foxworthy. Who's the other guy? Larry the Cable Guy. He's the new Larry the Cable Guy. Theo Vaughn's murdering it in the whole Southern redneck hick comedy thing. He had Trump on, and Trump seemed lost for a majority of the time. Not long, but I don't know. They started talking about cocaine. It was hilarious. I found it interesting. Somebody I know said it was really good. So I do want to go listen to the whole thing. Because he was saying that Trump opened up about his brother being an alcoholic, and they were talking about all that stuff. But what I found out later was that Barron Trump was the one who suggested Theo Vaughn to his dad, and it looked like somebody's child had suggested he go on like, when somebody shows up and they're like, I know this is cool and a big thing, but I don't know it. It's not my thing. That's what it felt like for Donald Trump. But he has to do those things. He has to go on those shows. If he's going to win this, he's got to reach out to the people that are listening to podcasts. It's the strongest media right now. It's by far, because of Rogan, because of Theo Vaughn, because of Caller Daddy, because of some of these gargantuans that are out there. It's the biggest medium for anybody anywhere. And in fact, nobody is debating the fact that any of these debates would be better on Rogan than they would be on ABC or Fox News. It's where all the attention is on podcasts right now. So he's got to go there to do that, to make it work. But it did look a little fish out of water to me. Trump looked like he didn't really know what to make of Theo Vaughn, which is hilarious because I feel like that's most people's sentiment and thought when they're just looking at Theo Vaughn. It's fucking 2024. The guy's got a mullet. He's proudly, showcasing a mullet. And credit Theo Vaughn. He had Bernie Sanders, and then he followed that up with Donald Trump. I mean, the guy is, doing his thing. I didn't see, what's the Indiana thing? Somebody fill me in. What's going on in Indiana? I'm not sure what's going on. Miss Justice loves pink, though. That's awesome. Yeah, I think John Legend is there. What, tonight? Is he on right now? The Dems pack out the celebs. They always do. John Legend is there tonight. Lil Jon was yesterday. Oh, okay. Here's the biggest mistake the Democrats have ever made besides putting Joe Biden up for president. And I'm actually a little upset with them. And they're going to lose points with me for this. Monday, do you know who was supposed to perform at the DNC on Monday but got bumped for speeches? James Taylor. James Taylor. How fucking dare you? Okay. Did we need the fucking 14th congressperson from, bumfuck Minnesota? No. Let fucking James Taylor come out and do Going to Carolina. You know what I'm saying? Let the fucking guy do the whole, the whole thing. And he says, I start fucking crying all the time. Who bumps James? Who the fuck says we don't have time for you, James Taylor? We've got to get the second gentleman's third cousin on there to do it. What the fuck? That's fucked up. That's fucked up. In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Fucking love that song. You know what I'm saying? Who bumps James Taylor? That's bullshit. That's some bullshit right there. You can't bump James Taylor. I can't tell you. I would have let James Taylor do 6 songs and bump some of those asshole people. Nobody would have ever remembered any of the other bullshit. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Waterworks. Who left that guy on the side of the stage so that fucking the chairman of the Chicago Democratic Committee could speak? Who gives a shit? Who's in charge of this stuff? This makes me lose faith in the Democrats. I'm kind of kidding there. I mostly said that just to get a rise out of people in the clips, but I am very disappointed. I am not going to lie to you. I'm very fucking disappointed. Did we find out what happened in Indiana? Did somebody say what happened? John Legend is doing a Prince medley right now? Don't fuck with me, Paul. Are you for real? Because I'm going to have to go back and watch that. Rudy announced our delegates. Who Rudy? Sean Astin? Shut the fuck up. from Indiana. Oh my goodness. Did they lift him up and walk him out of the arena like they did at the end of Rudy? Because that would have been amazing. That would have been so fucking good. Talk about making me cry. Oh my God, Rudy can make me cry. When he finally gets into the school, spoiler alert, sorry. When he finally gets into the school and he's crying on the bench and then he goes and runs down to the water and runs out of fucking frame. Oh my God. Waterworks, bro. Waterworks. Did they really chant Rudy? There's nothing more amazing than a real human being coming to do something and then they chant his character name at him. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, Rudy. My name is actually Sean. Who gives? Shut the fuck up, Rudy. Do the speech from the fucking movie. Is he big? I gotta say, Sean, dude, last time I saw him, he was on like a promo for like a Nickelodeon show or something. He's doing like a Disney show or some shit. Motherfucker puffed up a bit. Not that I should talk, but I'm just saying, he's a little big. Brother man's he's getting a little up there in the weight department. Good for him. He's got that fucking Rudy money and that, what was that movie? The guy where he played the goblin dude. He's got that fucking money rolling in. He's going to go ahead and get that extra plate of wings, Rudy is the only movie that's ever made my brother cry. Do you know how many people have that story about a man in their life, Bird? A lot. I didn't even know what crying was. I remember I went to my girlfriend at the time and I said, there's some stuff coming out of my face. What is this? I'm like, should we go to the hospital? She's like, no, those are feelings and emotions, asshole. Just let it take its course. And I'm just like, I think something's broken. I don't know. I'm going to go to the doctor. She was like, you have feelings for a football movie. You think you can say you love me? I looked her dead in the eye and I said, I don't feel about you the way I feel about Rudy. There's chances. I just want him to get in for one play. And then I said to her, I sat her down and I grabbed her shoulders like this. I did the whole like hand on the shoulders things. And I said, Rudy can take my spot, coach. That's what I said to her. It was the last thing I said to her. She left me after that. It's not the point. Point is, let me wait before we go on to RFK. I have to be honest with you. That's what this show is about. I really didn't love the Obama small dick thing. I didn't love it. I don't like that. Especially from Obama. I don't think it was 2 days ago where I was like, can we go back to Obama times when politics was slightly a little bit more classy? Like, do you remember the Obama-McCain campaign? Remember when McCain stopped the lady from being a horrible piece of shit, talking about Obama as a Muslim and all, and he was like, no, ma'am. Like, remember how classy John fucking McCain was? And Obama is pretty fucking classy himself. I like that they're on that higher level. I really did not love them coming down to Trump's level and doing the whole small penis thing. I got to tell you, I didn't like it. Bad taste in the mouth. It's beneath them. I liked it up here. I like the Obamas up here. I don't want them down in the fray mixing with anybody else. Michelle too. She wasn't as bad as what President Obama did. But and by the way, Trump did make a speech today where he was like, "Oh, where's the Trump clip?" No, I have to share the Trump clip with you guys. Because Trump was stumping today. It was a Trump stump. And he's over there and God knows where the frig he was. But he made a comment about it. And he's not wrong. I know people are going to get upset at me when I side with Trump or when I say he did something right. And by people, I mean Frank. I mean my co-host and dear close friend of years and years and years. But he's not wrong. People criticize the shit out of Trump all the time for the personal attacks. I know I do. I don't want to hear that. Crooked Hillary was cute in the beginning. It's been 8 fucking years. I'm over it. Enough already. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't listen to that stuff anymore and pretend like it's funny. It's not. It's not funny. It's not interesting at all. So I don't love it when the other side that's always accusing him of being a 12-year-old goes down to that level on their own. You know, I don't really love it. I don't really love it. In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Kind of an idiot bumps James Taylor. Who was the person that said, "I'm sorry, Mr. Taylor, but we don't have time for you"? That person should have gotten a guitar smashed over their fucking head. I'll tell you what right now. All right, here's Trumpkin Latte yesterday at God knows where, doing God knows what. But this clip is on TikTok, courtesy of the Daily Mail. Thank you for this clip. Here's Donald Trump.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president. And so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy. Don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy?
Okay, I wanted to play that clip for you for several reasons.
Did you see?
It works on several reasons. One, I don't know who Donald Trump is more angry at in this clip, Barack Obama or his own people for telling him he's got to stick to policy. I think it's about even because he's pissed off that this election has gotten to the point where he can't go on stage and riff for 2.5 hours, that he's got to stick to a script. He is so pissed. He cannot take it. He cannot take it. And then listen to his delivery. Listen to the way he delivers this line.
Did you see Barack Hussein Obama last night? Take little shots. He was taking shots at your president.
Did you hear Barack Obama taking little shots? He was taking shots at your president. He's doing a Trump impression. Donald Trump is now doing a Trump impression. This is where we've gotten to the point. He's talking the way all the impressionists are talking, which I get because 5 minutes after watching Shane Gillis's impression, I started doing this. I started doing the same thing. Taking shots at your president. They're taking shots at your president. I mean, he's delivering it like a comic.
Hussein Obama last night, take little shots. He was taking shots at your president. And so was Michelle. You know, they always say, sure, please stick to policy. Don't get personal. And yet they're getting personal all night long, these people. Do I still have to stick to policy? Do I still have to stick to policy?
I'm telling you, he's fucking pissed. He is pissed off that he has to stay on a script. He is angry about that. He really, really is angry, you know. But anyway, I would prefer it if the Obamas kept it on the high road. I think that's where they're best. The Democrats too, because again, then you lose that card. You can't play that card. He, to me, in my mind, he looks like an ass every time he goes out there and uses the nickname thing. Again, in 2016, it was a whole new take on how to take on an election and a debate. It was interesting and it worked because it was against Hillary Clinton and it was justifiable. It's not the same. It's not 2016 anymore. You know, the Sleepy Joe stuff. He's workshopping Kamala names like crazy. Nothing's been sticking. Last I saw was Comrade Kamala. All right, I appreciate the alliteration. I love alliteration, but still, I just, you know, like a lot of people are saying, like I've been saying for 2-3 weeks now, you could be winning this election on issues. Stay on brand. Now he's staying on brand, but he's complaining about it. So he's inching closer to his goals. He just hasn't really made it there 100% just yet. RFK Jr., his campaign is going to come to an end. I don't know if he knows this yet, but that's where we're headed. News stories all over the place. CNN, everybody's kind of reporting it, that his campaign is expected to end on Friday. He's going to suspend it at an event in Arizona. Two sources familiar with the plans told CNN, and obviously they're telling other people too. There's currently some talks between the Republican presidential nominee, Donald Trump, and his team, and Kennedy's team to have the independent candidate endorse the former president and appear at Trump's Phoenix area rally that same night. CNN has reached out to the campaign for comment, and they have not heard back yet. They announced on Wednesday that he will make a speech in Phoenix saying he would address the nation Friday morning, but did not share the details of what he will be speaking about. Nicole Shanahan, who is Kennedy's running mate, said in a podcast interview on Tuesday that the campaign is considering whether to join forces with Trump or to prevent the risk of Vice President Kamala Harris winning the election. Trump on Tuesday expressed openness to Kennedy playing a role in the future administration. Here's the thing. I know Kennedy comes with a few votes. He's got a chunk of the electorate right now. He's got a decent percentage. I wonder, though, if going to Trump actually helps the Democrats, because right now as an independent, is he pulling? I feel he's pulling away more votes from Kamala than he is pulling away votes for Trump. And this might be a weird thing to say, but I feel like the amount of votes he could bring to Trump is not more than the amount of votes he's pulling away from Kamala as an independent. So it's kind of weird to say, and I have no mathematician, no polls, there's no research behind this. This is just a gut feeling. It just feels weird to me that he's going to swing over there, and you think that's a big win, all the votes will come. But I wonder if that's the truth, because I bet you there's a fair amount of people that are like, I'm voting for RFK because he's an independent. And then as soon as he's not, then they're either A, not going to vote, or B, they're going to vote for the Democratic nominee. You know? Paul says RFK was financed to take voters from the Dems. He was taking votes from Trump. Now he's been told to endorse Trump. I never liked RFK from the beginning. Actually, I mean, I did find him, I do love his takes. He's an independent thinker. There are some positives to RFK. Again, I don't want to go over this again, but the trips on Epstein's plane, the weird bear story, the brain worm. There's just too much weird shit there. It's just too much weird shit. A lot of shit just doesn't really add up, you know? And that's the thing. So listen to Bird's comment here. As a registered independent for the last 20 years, there's no way that I'm giving Trump my vote. I don't care if he's endorsed by Jesus. I just feel like the independent voters tend to vote Democratic, and they're happy to vote independent, right? It's the same like what's the other one there? The Libertarians and the Libertarians could go to the Republican side because of the whole tax thing. But the Green Party, right? The whole Jill, what's her name? Jill Stein Lewis, whatever the fuck, Lewis Stein. She's out there with the whole Green New Deal and all that bullshit and the whole whatever the fuck she stands for. I forget. That's more Democratic votes there. You know, she's not on the ballot. Those all go to the Democrats. So I'm not entirely sure. But RFK was out in front of the DNC and he was making this whole big speech. I'd play it for you if I wasn't afraid you'd fall asleep in the first 4 seconds. He's out there complaining because the Democratic National Party is suing him to get him off of the ballot, which actually does make me believe that he is pulling votes away from the Dems. He's suing them. They're suing him. He went to Chicago to testify in one of the trials. He was late. Then the judge didn't let him testify, and then he got mad. It's like, but you were late. What do you want? Everybody to fucking roll out a red carpet because you're a Kennedy? Like, go fuck off. There's court. You have to be there in time. Be there. You're not there. You don't get a special exception. Go fuck yourself. Maybe if you took one of Epstein's planes, you would have made it in time. The guy's a fucking train wreck and a mess. He's like, and then he's like, he's going to be here in Long Island tomorrow, and he's complaining because he resigned. They don't know, or he put down on the application the wrong residence because he's got a house in Massachusetts, a house in, I think he said New York, one in California. I think he put down the wrong primary residence or something. So they're trying to keep him off the ballot for that. And now he's mad at that. He's like the Democrat. And then he's out in front of which is another sign that he's going to go towards the Republican ticket. But he's out in front of the DNC explaining how the Democrats used to be the party of the people. Now they're trying to keep him off the ballot. Well, they're worried about you fucking up their chances. You know, if you were like, I could sympathize with him if I didn't think for a second, if he was taking away votes from the Republicans, that they wouldn't do the same thing. Of course they would. Does anybody feel like the Republicans wouldn't sue to get him off the ballot if it was affecting the Republican Party more? They would do it in a second. It's called politics. It's called an election. You do whatever you can within the means of the law to win. And if taking somebody to court, having a judge preside over this to figure out if he is valid onto the ballot or not, that's perfectly fair game. And on top of this, I fancy myself as a very fair person, but let's be honest here. You're insignificant. You're insignificant. I know I talked about who's going to get more votes and who's this or that. I don't know if if it's going to really matter, if it's going to, sway either way. What RFK is trying to do. I just don't think it is. So if somebody wants to push him off the ballot, push him off the ballot. It's not going to matter. You need to have all your signatures and your endorsements and your fucking paperwork in order. You didn't do it. You're not fucking special, dude. I know you're a Kennedy. I know you've been handed a lot of things all of your life, but this is the real world. You don't have your fucking paperwork filled out. You know what happens? You go to the back of the line, come back with the shit done right. That's what everyday Americans have to deal with. And then he's off in front of the DNC going, they're treating me unfair. The judges are Democrat leaning. Go fuck yourself. Stop making this whole thing a whole fucking, like you're a martyr. I can't stand people that have everything handed to them and they're like, well, this isn't fair. Give me a break. Fair. A fucking Kennedy is going to tell us about what's not fucking fair. Here's what's not fucking fair, that you're allowed on Twitter and I have to listen to this bullshit. I gave 3.5 minutes of my life to that video you put out thinking there was going to be something there. I'll never get back that time back ever. That's not fair, motherfucker. Richard Simmons caused a death. This is so sad. Apparently, Richard Simmons fell a bunch of times just before he died. That, along with heart disease, was listed on his death certificate as the cause of death. Richard Simmons' brother revealed in an interview with People magazine that Simmons suffered a fall on July 11th. The next day, his birthday, Simmons refused to get medical help. On July 13th, he was found dead. And that's kind of heartbreaking. When people get old, they don't want to get, they don't want to get moved. They don't want to get, this or that. They don't want to go to the doctor. I just hope he didn't have a miserable 48 hours, That's what I really hope for. Does anybody have a problem with Richard Simmons? He was always just bubbly and happy and, full of life. I never minded that dude. I like happy people. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But, you guys see he was just, set in his ways. He didn't want to go to the hospital. Boom. 2 days later, he was dead. And then that sneaky fucking heart disease, man. Could have been because he wasn't healthy. He was healthy as a horse. Fucking genetics. So anyway, rest in peace, Richard Simmons. Feels like you were gone too soon. We barely even knew you. I'm having a real hard time, too, with people's age. This is how I can tell I'm getting older. People are getting old, man. Like I was the Phil Donahue thing. I was looking at pictures of him. Dude was old. Dude was really, really old. Saw an article the other day. Who was it? Somebody was like 75 or something like that. I'm like, shit, that person's 75. It messes you up more when they're movie stars, or like in Richard Simmons' case where we hadn't seen him in a while. So like the last image of them is like all you see. Oh, Gene Hackman. Remember like Gene Hackman? Gene Hackman, I watch not The Hunt for Red October. What is that? Crimson Tide. Fucking love Crimson Tide. One of the best movies of all time. You want to see a fucking killer movie? Crimson Tide, Gene Hackman, and Denzel Washington. Acting has never been better. I mean, Pacino watched that and went, fuck. You know, the two of them are so good in the Crimson Tide. It's ridiculous. Gandolfini is in that. What's his name? Viggo Mortensen. Got it. Viggo Mortensen's in it. Like, there are some amazing actors that you can't even see because the glow from Hackman and Washington are ridiculously bright. They're so freaking good. They're so good. Anyway, so like Hackman always kind of looks like that in my mind. And then you see him out there like scarfing a Wendy's burger on the fucking drive-through line. You're like, what the fuck? What's happening to the world? Where's life going? You know, people's ages are fucking me up now. They really, really are. It's like a weird, thing. All right, this is a fun little experiment. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, we'll never do it again. But I do like to do topics like this sometimes where I'll read the headline and then I'll stop, bring it right to the show because I want the reaction to be fresh. So that kind of happened with me. This isn't an article. It's not a headline. But there's this German tourist. And I don't know why, because I'm not following this guy because Twitter's all messed up these days. It's just weird how they're doing things. So I can make this bigger for everybody. There we go. Look at that. People I don't follow anymore, I'm seeing on my feed. I like Twitter. I don't mind what Elon has done with Twitter. I wish he would just dial it back 60%. Can I get 60% more of the old Twitter and 40% of what you're doing on Twitter? Because I feel like then we'll have like a great Twitter. But anyway, this guy, Leman, DOTETH on Twitter or X, if you want to follow him, you can. This just caught me off guard today. I was in line earlier at the pizza place getting pizza with the kids. And so I started reading this and I just became intrigued by it. So Leman says, I'm European. I recently visited the USA for the first time since 2018, hitting up Las Vegas and New York City. By the way, if you're only going to go to two towns while you're visiting the USA from Europe, those are the two towns to go to. I don't think I would suggest any others. New York and Vegas, debauchery at its finest. What I witnessed left me stunned. Here's 15 American oddities I still can't wrap my head around. There's old, what's his name? Leman. There's old Leman. There you go. Look at him. Good looking young guy. Fucking stop sign shaped glasses. Good for him. I hope he got laid. I don't know if he did or not. First thing he writes, in the US, money is an open topic, unlike the taboo it has in Europe. I noticed that people are excited to talk about their work and financial success without any negative vibes. As someone who likes these topics, it felt freeing to chat about it with other like-minded people. I found that a little interesting. I didn't realize that people from Europe don't like talking about money. I didn't realize, actually, how much we talk about money until this guy pointed out, hey, you guys talk about money a lot. He's kind of right. I actually hate the amount that we talk about money. Who's making what? How much people have? Third yachts, all this kind of bullshit. It's not really great. And the way he finds this appealing, and like-minded, I kind of feel like I might move to Europe. So I don't have to hear that shit all the time. This was what he said. And I found that this is when I decided I'm going to take this to the podcast because this is some truth right here. Fast food was disappointing. I was so excited to try American fast food after watching tons of YouTube reviews. But man, In-N-Out was such a letdown. The fries tasted like cardboard and the whole experience was just meh. I give it a 2 out of 10. Now, I don't know when he visited In-N-Out because I bet you if he waited the following day, that 2 would have went down to 1 because scores change when you're shitting your brains out. All right. That's what I learned. Scores definitely change. I absolutely hate with a passion these food review influencer people who go on and, like I said earlier, take a bite of a pickle sandwich and go, oh, delicious. No, it's not. No, it's not. I hate these people that go to, Chick-fil-A or Taco Bell and are like, oh man, I give this a 8.5 out of 10. No, it's not. No, it's not. If we're being totally honest and we're rating food on an honest scale with the best food ever being a 10, name the restaurant, Le Bernardin or whatever the fuck whatever Michelin, whatever we all agree is the best restaurant is a 10. Taco Bell on its best day cannot get above a 3.5. I'm sorry, but it can't. If you're going to rate it on a fast food scale, okay, that's a different story. But a lot of these people are like, oh, I give this a fucking 9.2. Who the fuck are you? It's a fucking Taco Bell. It's In-N-Out Burger. For all we know, that is sliced up cardboard, deep fried in canola oil. I don't know. I don't know how it all works. But every fucking food influencer takes the bite. Oh, no, no, no. Like, bro, it's a Nathan's hot dog. Calm the fuck down. Listen, do I make those faces for Taco Bell? Yeah. When I'm fucking blitzed out of my mind and I'm by myself in my own living room. Okay. I don't fucking go put it on camera and go, really? Is the Burger King burger with fucking fake onion rings and bullshit bacon a fucking 10 out of 10? Please go scratch. I'll be honest with you. I don't even think we should have food reviewers for fast food. You want to give an opinion, that's one thing. But to call yourself a food reviewer for fast food, I'm taking issue. There are a couple of people I like. There's this one guy who has a whole table that he puts on his. I don't know how it works. But it's like, I assume he bought it on Amazon or wherever Frank got the sync thingy. And it locks into his steering wheel and I think balances on his big fat stomach. And it's like a table so he doesn't make a mess and he eats in his car. I mean, I can't. Fucking Raven, Taco Bell is cat food. Yeah, it is. That's exactly what it is. You can't put cat food above a 3.5 and get my respect. It ain't happening. Now, again, am I going to order Taco Bell when I've had a few too many? Yeah, you better believe I am. Am I going to enjoy the shit out of it? Probably far too much than I should. Yeah, yes, I am. But you don't see me sticking it on the internet. That's all I'm going to say. So it is refreshing to see somebody from the outside world come in here and go, what are all you people on YouTube and TikTok talking about? Because this is dog shit. Because it is dog shit. It's fucking dog shit. There's so many restaurants that I go to that make outstanding meals. I mean, phenomenal meals. I happen to, over the course of my lifetime of being a fat person and a radio personality, have befriended a lot of chefs. And I'm telling you, I was going to say a lot of them. I'm going to scratch that. All of them are insanely talented people who create wonderful dishes, amazing flavors being put together. And you look at that hard work and you're like, this is delicious. And you can enjoy it. Like growing up Italian, my grandmother passing down meatball recipes to my mother to me and my wife, like all of it, sauce and all these things that we do particular ways. And then they're going to sit there with nachos and plastic cheese on it and go, this is a culinary masterpiece. You should be dragged out of your car and beat to death with your little steering wheel fat gut table. Okay? Because it's not. It's the embarrassing things we do when we get too drunk. All right. So that's it. By the way, those burgers look good. I love this too. Oh, I did read this one. Old Leman says, how are you? Is thrown around too casually. As a German, I'm not used to exchanging pleasantries with strangers, such as cashiers like that. It feels kind of fake to ask a question that no one really wants an honest answer to, but I guess it's a part of American social norms. How could you not love this? I love it on two levels. One, he's annoyed he has to talk to somebody like a cashier. I appreciate that. How could you not love that dose of honesty? Right? Do I have to talk to the cat? Like, well, they're people too. Do I have to talk to them? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And then two, to point out that you don't really give a shit what the answer is. So what are you asking for? Which is so true. Because how annoyed are you when you go, hey, how's it going? And the other person goes, well, I got to be honest with you. And then you're like, oh, fuck, what did I just do? Oh, no. Oh, he thinks I care. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. What did I just run into? Oh, this might take me 45 minutes to get out of this, you know? That's so true. That is so true. All right. Tipping in America feels like a broken system. I don't get why taxes aren't included in the prices. Good point. And then you're expected to add an extra 18 to 20% on top. Also, tips for basic service like a coffee order seems extremely excessive to me. I will say we're a bit overzealous on the tipping. I believe in over tipping. Watch My Blue Heaven if you've never seen that movie. It's fantastic. It's a masterpiece. It is a cinematic and culinary masterpiece. I have to say I agree. Our tipping culture has gotten out of hand. I'm tipping pizzeria workers now. I tipped a pizzeria worker for putting pizza that they did not make in a box that I don't believe that they actually folded. I think that was just the young kid in the corner. And didn't even heat up because I go, I'm going to be a while before I can actually eat this. So just throw it all in a box for me. I'll heat it up when I'm home and the kids are home. You know, I got a while to go, so don't heat it up. And then she spun the little thing around with the little tippy thing and went like this and kept it right here. She kept it right here. She didn't break with me. And I folded like a cheap table. I was like, sure, here's 18% for putting cold pizza in a box that you didn't fold for me. Sure. I did it. I am weak. I am, and please, and I appreciate you all. I love you all dearly, but don't give me the whole aunt. You're such a nice person. I'm not. I'm weak. I don't do it out of the kindness of my heart. I do it because I don't want somebody to be like, that's the guy. That's the fucking radio guy. Can't even fucking put $2 down on the thing. The other day too, I got coffee. So there's a coffee place near me, and I love their coffee. I did a lot of work with them back in the day. I used to have them on the show. They were a sponsor of my radio show. So and they opened up a coffee shop closer to me. It used to be just where the radio station was. So I go in there and I go, I'm gonna tip them, and I go, let me be a big tipper here. Give the 20%. It was like an $8 coffee. So I didn't realize like I'm tipping like $1.47. And I'm like, I don't know. Am I an asshole now for not throwing like a 3 down? You know, like, is it like, what's the etiquette here? I felt like a big tipper putting 20% down, but my total bill was like $6. So it really was not really all that much. I tell you what I love doing, and this isn't tipping. I don't know why I love this. I think it's because of my hatred for change. But if I ever do pay in cash, which I really never do, I wound up doing it today, ironically, for another iced coffee. I love going, I love waving off change. Oh, I love waving off change. There's nothing. I've never had a chance to call for somebody from the bullpen. That's another great move I would love to do. But I love just waving off like, oh, I got 83 cents coming back your way. You know what? I don't need the 83 cents. I'm doing just fine. Thank you. Put that in your jar. That's for you. I know I shouldn't feel like a big man over that, but I do. I love it. I love waving off change. Because the only thing that I hate more than waving off change, my love for waving off change is only unmatched by my hatred for hearing change jiggle in my pocket for the rest of the day. That I can't fucking stand. I'm more likely, if you said waving off change is no longer classy, I would take the change and just throw it on the floor on my way out of the place, because I'm outside, not inside. I have to clean it up. That's just a shitty thing. I would just throw it out on the floor as soon as I got outside the joint, because I can't fucking sit there and all fucking day. Drive me crazy. Drive me crazy. But if I can wave off fucking 35 cents, it makes me feel like I just helped find the cure for cancer. Okay. I don't know what that says about me, but whatever you think it says, write it in the comments below so I can bring it up with the therapist next week. The American dream is still going strong from what I can tell. Well, that's nice. There's this huge desire to innovate and create a better future. I heard a lot of conversations about the world-changing ideas, startup ventures, and the pursuit of progress. I honestly loved this aspect of America. Oh, that's sweet. Yes. Oh, Leman, I will agree with this wholeheartedly. We do, for as much as we love fucking this place up, we do love talking about making it better and then sometimes actually making it a little bit better. It doesn't happen often, but every now and then we do make that good old progress. And yeah, I will agree. That burning desire, no bullshit. Let's get a little emotional together. Let's have an emotional thing, you and I. That burning desire to make the world a bit better, to be better than we were yesterday, that is an American thing for sure. And I don't think we've lost that. It may be muddy and fucked up a little bit, but yeah, we've not lost that desire. So now that makes me think, is it not like that in Germany? Like in Germany, are they like, I don't know, we're just here. It's fine. I don't know. It's Wednesday. What's the big deal? Tomorrow will be Thursday. Then I'll be dead soon. Is that like the attitude in Germany? I don't really know. Is that what they're going through? I think about that a lot with not to bring this down, but the Gaza people, the Gaza kids. Oh God, the Ukrainian kids. It's fucked up. War and all that stuff. Oh, they're just like, am I gonna get blown up today? Like, that is not a way to go. I woke up this morning going, I'm gonna kill somebody if the internet's not working and we can't do the show tonight. That's not a big problem. Some of those other people are dealing with some real problems. Americans are so much louder than Europeans, like 10 times louder. I don't understand this. It seems so. I don't understand this. It seems so unnecessary when I'm right next to you. The constant noise was jarring and confusing for someone like me who's more used to reserved conversations. That's really funny. It doesn't have to be so loud. That's hysterical. Because here's the funny part about that. I don't know where in New York he went. I'm assuming Manhattan. But if I took him down to Little Italy or my old neighborhood in Queens, that volume is going to go up tenfold. You know what I'm saying? You get a room of Italians going and they're a little upset that there's not enough garlic in the sauce. And now you're really going to hear some volume. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really going to get intense. We're really going to start to test out some of those hearing aids that are out there. So, I mean, I can appreciate the sentiment, but I'm not even sure he was in the loudest parts of America. I don't. I mean, it's loud as shit in Vegas. I will say that. Like, you go to Vegas and it's the constant, like, boom, 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 boom. Like the slot machines and everything are going. People are fucking going nuts. I will say it's loud in Vegas. But as far as conversation, I mean, are we loud as a people? I never really heard. I've heard people say Italians are loud, but not Americans. I never really heard that, to be totally honest with you. Maybe it is. Again, we're taking old Leman at his word, because he's German and he took the time to put 15 posts together for us. So, okay. I'll believe it. Stepping into a casino for the first time was wild. Oh, here we go. I couldn't believe my eyes watching people chain smoke and lose money on slot machines. That's America, my friend. It was both fascinating and super sad. That's America. Everything is designed to hijack your dopamine, even when you know better. Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you how bad my gambling has become. I'm not even gambling anymore. I'm now watching people gamble online. You thought fast food influencers were bad? I'm watching gambling influencers. Like, I'm watching people just bet stupid amounts of money on dumb hands of blackjack and fucking and all the shit. It's really stupid. It's really stupid, but I cannot stop watching. Yeah, casinos are sad and exciting and invigorating. It is a dopamine thing. I saw some guy, he doubled down like 4 hands in a row and won them all. And I'm like, why aren't I doubling down more when I go to the casino? And then the next influencer I saw bet $5,000 on one blackjack hand, got a 20 and lost to a blackjack on the dealer. Not a blackjack, but a 21 because it took 1 or 2 hits, whatever it was. And then I was like, oh, that's why. I forgot. Every time you see somebody win, you think, I can win. I should be doing that more. And then you're like, oh, no, it doesn't really work that way. Obesity is off the charts. I was shocked by how many severely overweight people I saw in the US. It felt dystopian. But at the same time, I also noticed a ton of extremely fit people. It's like America is the land of extremes when it comes to physical health and appearance. Yeah, that's pretty much true. That's pretty much true. There's some in between people, but yeah, for the most part, there are some people that are just eating. Compared to Europeans, Americans are super outgoing and talkative. That's interesting. They'll strike up conversations with strangers like it's no big deal, which can be both refreshing and a bit overwhelming. This openness is a defining aspect of American culture that really stood out to me. That's interesting. See, I could talk to anybody. In fact, I actually prefer to talk to strangers over friends. I've kind of been forced into that. But still, I do. I love talking to a fucking stranger. I love talking to somebody new. When my kids have shit and I have to talk to like other parents, man, that's fucking boring. Ugh. That's good. Hey, how's work going? How's work good? And you like it? You enjoying your job? Oh, that's great. I don't know. How about this weather? I said to one of the other parents once, I go, can you believe this teacher they got? He's like, I know. I just can't get over the math. And I'm like, yeah, the math, right? I mean, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say the math. Thank God. I know. I don't even know my kids' teachers' names. I even know. I just took a shot. I was like, could you believe this teacher? Judging on his reaction, I was going to be like, isn't it great? Isn't it wonderful? He's like, yeah, the math. And I'm like, I know. I'm concerned about it too. All the mathing that is going on. Seems like a lot of mathing. There's the adding and the subtracting and the division. And he's like, I don't think they're dividing things yet. I'm like, well, no, the division between people who love the adding and subtracting. It's a house divided in that second grade class. It's upsetting. I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care what you have to say. I don't know why I'm here. I just wish I was outside talking to strangers. All right, here we go. I don't know what number we're up to. The lights are always on in America, which is so different from the energy saving habits I'm used to in Europe and Asia. Yeah, we don't really give a fuck about energy, do we? Even the ones who say they care about energy, we like to leave a light on. I guess this 24/7 brightness comes from America's wealth and love for convenience. We do love us some convenience, do we not? We fucking love convenience. Holy shit. We will leave a light on so we don't have to come home in the dark on our way back from an energy conservation protest. Just to be like, thank God I could say. It creates a feeling of constant abundance I haven't experienced elsewhere. See that? I mean, when you hear shit like that, don't you feel like lucky? Like and listen, I know we're all from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different, religions and ethnicities and everything. But you read something like that and you think even the poorest people in America are still better off than people in other parts of the world. When you hear them just talking about 24/7 hour brightness and wealth and love for convenience, it's a constant feeling of abundance that he hasn't experienced anywhere else. It's kind of jarring and shocking to hear that from somebody else. Everything is supersized, from drinks to cars. At the Fontainebleau in Vegas, my small Diet Coke was nearly a liter. Drinks are consistently 50% larger than Europe with no option to downsize. The same goes for food portions and vehicles. Everything is just bigger in the US. I blame Texas for that mostly. I think most of that starts in Texas. Also, Christine with a good point. We can blame the whole light thing on Motel 6. They've been telling us how long that fucking light's been on for, and they're leaving it for us for forever. Fucking 40 years of the light being on. Yes, we do like things in abundance. We do like larger things. That's true. At some point, we went from small, medium, and large, and then all of a sudden, the large became small, and then the large became medium. Then they created the large, which was the XL, and then there was basically a bucket of drink became our extra large drink. I think that's what happened. I think that's what happened. Good reminder from Miss Justice. Hit that like button. Make sure you hit the share button as well, too. For those of you watching on Facebook, for the love of God, share it on your profile. If you're watching on YouTube, share it on your Facebook. Share it on your Twitter, wherever you like to share things. Instagram stories. Throw it over there. Spread the word of the podcast if you're enjoying yourself. That's truly appreciated. That's the main way that we get around and find new people. Our vehicles are bigger, too. We do love a big vehicle. They got some small-ass cars over there in Europe, They got those old small-ass streets. That's basically why. Trying to eat healthy in America was an annoying challenge. I was shocked by how expensive and hard to find nutritious options were compared to Europe. Back home, I can easily grab a healthy meal without breaking the bank, but in the U.S., it felt like a treasure hunt. In the U.S., it's almost a penalty. You have to pay more for your healthy food. Doesn't come as easy and convenient. That's the truth. And I'm annoyed with this too, because we do have huge restaurants like McDonald's that literally strip the health out of food for no reason. McDonald's figured out years ago, if they just engineer something to pull a little bit more fiber out, they could sell more food because people won't be full as fast. It's insane. It is insane what we do to our food here. I really, if we could fix something right away, I would fix food. All the processed bullshit food. Who was I reading the other day? There was an article that was talking about how the cigarette companies, once the tobacco companies could no longer peddle cigarettes without the government putting warning labels on them and whatever, went and started buying up food companies and started processing foods and making more money on foods than they were making on cigarettes. And they made more money by feeding us more shit. I have to find that article. Maybe we'll talk about it next episode. American customer service is super attentive and friendly compared to Europe. I assume it's because the whole tipping culture. That's funny. As well as the fact that the U.S. is a more consumer-oriented society. Servers really go the extra mile to make sure customers are happy, which I enjoyed. I can't tell you how many people tell me you don't tip in Europe, you don't tip in Italy, the servers aren't that friendly or warm. Yeah, I do hear that a lot. I don't know why that is. It's weird because as cold as we can be, we are warm. We do love one another. As much as we could be like, fuck you, asshole. I can't believe you're voting for that other person. At the same time, we'll be like, can I get you a refill on that? We do want people to have a good time. Flashiness and status symbols are everywhere. I saw way more designer watches, luxury cars, and public displays of wealth than I'm used to seeing in Europe. It's obvious how American culture places a high value on financial success and all that material stuff that comes with it. That's true. We do. That's very, very true. Now JSABs just launched an unfair attack on me, and I was about to scream back at her, and I realized, whoops, she's right. Guess that text did not go through. All right, I think we're wrapping up here anyway. Overall, I was really inspired by the risk-taking spirit of American culture. People here aren't afraid to change the world, even if it means leaving their comfort zones. It's a stark contrast to the more risk-averse mindset in Europe, where people tend to play it safe. We do love a gamble. We don't mind making an ass out of ourselves or failing or falling on our face. In fact, we reward it, right? I mean, how many times, like you think about the entrepreneurs or successful business people. We love a successful business person, but it's a successful business person that can tell us a story about how they failed 5 times before they were successful. We love that. We love it. People that make it big on their first idea, okay, we're fascinated by the luck of that. But somebody who has failed 6 times, somebody who has been rich and then lost everything and then became rich again, we come in our pants. We just love those kinds of stories. We love it. I don't know why. We love a second chance. We love overcoming a challenge. We love that shit. That's why we love Rudy. I think this stems from the history of America. The U.S. was built by immigrants who took a leap of faith, leaving their families behind to sail across treacherous oceans in search of a better life. That's a massive risk. These risk-taking genes are still present today, in my humble opinion. It's very, very true. Because when you look at, and this is born from Europe, though, but when you look at the Europeans that were like, fuck this, I'm going somewhere else to be better. And they get here, we never lose that spirit, because there was for a while they were going, fuck this, I'm moving more west. You know what I'm saying? Fuck this, I'm moving this way. Happened basically until we got all the way to California. That shit never left. So thanks for reading. If you'd like us, follow me at Old Otef for more on internet business, AI, psychology, and investing. I'm following right now. I hope you will too. I found that to be quite fascinating from this dude. Look at this. Founder of whatever the fuck. $0 to $500 in the first year. Is that $500 or does he mean 500,000? And they just use periods instead of commas. I'm not entirely sure, because now he's got this period in the middle of the fucking line. It's up high. I don't know what that means. Anyway, I found that to be pretty. I thought that was a really fun and interesting. Look at that, 42 million views. Get the fuck out of here. 42.7 million views. That's almost 10% of all people on X and half the population of my home country. Share your thoughts online. You'll never know what will pop. The internet is crazy. Yeah, see, look at that. See? Guys getting fucking the American spirit right there. Take that risk, baby. Put it out there. You never know what'll happen. The internet is crazy. It's because I think Twitter has taken on the TikTok algorithm. They're no longer like who you're following and what's trending. They're more going towards what is entertaining, what's good for people in this moment. I mean, I guess that's kind of trending to a degree, but it's more like some douchebag from Germany is what he's saying interesting. If these, 400 people think it's interesting, maybe the next 1,000 people will think it's interesting. And then it just kind of goes off from there. That's a Twitter. That's a TikTok algorithm maneuver that everybody's basically catching up with and becoming accustomed with. So, but I did, for whatever reason, again, he's not a writer. He's a fucking business person, but just hearing that perspective was so interesting. So let me know in the comments below. Did you find that interesting at all? Because I sure shit did. And that's what I love kind of about our podcast too, because we got Australian people from the UK, people from, Norway. I heard from somebody in South America the other day, Dubai. I hear the Middle East a lot. Like, it's crazy, and it's crazy to hear people react to this show based on their own personal world. I love hearing that kind of stuff. I love hearing all those different perspectives. So that's part of the reason why I love doing this podcast, because of you guys and wherever you're from. I appreciate that wholeheartedly. All right, that's it for us. Felt like a fun episode. Hour 20 went by just like that. I'm going to go rewatch John Legend. I hope that somebody from the DNC has issued an apology to my man James Taylor for fucking giving him the boot to some weirdo who's in the Democratic Party could talk like anybody gave a shit. Who's watching that whole thing? I mean, honestly. Listen, I checked in on the Republicans. I've checked in on the Democrat thing. I actually didn't last night. I don't know why. I just wasn't in the mood. We watched The Town instead. That was fucking killer. I was trying to soothe myself from the Ben Affleck J-Lo divorce. But I'll watch Kamala tomorrow. I'll see what she has to say. Not just because of the podcast, because I have to, because I'm interested. I want to see what happens, you know. But there are some people that are watching that thing from the get-go. I mean, there's people that are there. I can't imagine sitting there. Holy shit, that sounds boring as fuck. God damn. And of course, we're keeping our eye out. Kamala Harris, DNC. We know Pink's going to be there. Will The Rock be there? Will Stone Cold be there? Anything under Shawn Michaels, I'm going to consider a failure and not a good answer to the Republicans and Hulk Hogan. Until we see you guys on Friday, Frankie C's back. J-Sabs, hopefully. Aaron with another game.
Show me potato salad.
Enjoy your Thursday.
Maybe we should go now. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Bye, everybody.